From the New York Post, Biden says every country must secure its borders, blames Trump as Republicans decry new amnesty for 550,000. President Biden declared himself a champion of national sovereignty Tuesday, insisting every country must secure its borders as he announced new initiatives that Republicans decried as amnesty for about 550,000 long-term U.S. residents who arrived illegally. The 81-year-old president, who has presided over 3 years of record-breaking illegal immigration at the U.S.-Mexico border, tried to blame his predecessor and general election rival Trump while unveiling plans to quicken permanent residency for people living in the country unlawfully while married to Americans and to speed up work permits for non-citizens who graduate from U.S. colleges. So this other story, Biden announcing new measures to speed up work visas for Dreamers. This is exactly what we thought was going to happen. And I would not be surprised if in the next couple of months, Joe Biden announces more and more plans. He's already forgiven student loans he had no legal authority to forgive. He is now offering up paths to citizenship through executive order, authority he does not have. And at the same time, we are seeing law enforcement go after his political rivals. Nothing would surprise me at this point.
It is crazy that he was effectively like, we're going to go by squatters' rights. If you've just been here long enough, we'll just say, okay, now you can be a citizen. The 550, it's 500,000 people who are married to Americans who are here illegally, meaning they are in the process of committing a crime by being here illegally. And then also about 50,000 children whose parents are here illegally but married to an American. They'll be shielded from deportation and potentially also given a pathway to citizenship because they're saying permanent residency, but that ultimately leaves the door open to citizenship. I think it's a big slap in the face to anyone who's migrated here legally, who has waited for the visa or has had to go through the strenuous process of being separated from your fiance or anything like that. Biden doesn't respect people who respect the law.
I'm hearing that, well, I think everybody knows this. If you try to come here legally, it's very difficult. And that's why, Fox News reporting from the southern border, they've got people from China and other countries just walking in. And they're like, well, it's if we actually want to go the normal route, we can't. So we'll just walk in. They let us in. Then there's your criminal case is dissolved, meaning you're in limbo. You're not a citizen, but there's no action against you. What they're going to do is they're going to say permanent residency for DACA and for illegal immigrants that got married. You will now be given permanent resident status in this country. And then they're going to say, we will now create a path to naturalizing permanent residence. And the argument they'll make is these are people who live here. They've been here for a long time. They're going to say, if you're a permanent resident who has been in the United States for longer than 5 years, we will give you a simple form to fill out to gain your citizenship. Then illegal immigrants who've been here for a long time will be given permanent residency. And then a week later, they can file for citizenship. And I wouldn't be surprised if they then vote.
Yeah, I mean, this is ultimately what it's about, getting new voters for the Democratic Party. Anyone who, so they think the application process will open at the end of the summer. Anyone who applies will get a work permit for the next 3 years. And then also, again, it'll move on to permanent residency. I just don't understand why people would think this is a good thing, right? Like, it doesn't make sense to me that people are critical of enforcing border law while also saying, well, actually, we want to incentivize illegal immigration. We know illegal immigration is linked to drug trafficking, to human smuggling. It's illegal, and it does not help the communities that have to bear the burden of absorbing tons of illegal immigrants. Like, this is against your community, it's against the country, and yet Biden is saying, I am really handling this because the congressional Republicans couldn't.
And I think, too, like, it definitely is an attempt to buy votes, right? Because Democrats are seeing the same polling that we're seeing. They're seeing that 63% of Americans support deportations of immigrants who are here illegally. 53% of Hispanic voters support deportations as well. Those numbers are shocking. We've never seen polling like that. So they're going to have to try to offer out as many goodies as they can up until November because they need to lock in and secure these votes. And I hate the term dreamers, as if American citizens don't have dreams, right? Lake and Riley had dreams. Kate Steinle had dreams. And those dreams need to be put to the forefront. We can't, just cater to those who break our laws every day by being here and just put Americans, wishes and life goals to the back seat. That has to end.
I'm going to start using the term dreamer to refer to someone who was victimized by an illegal immigrant.
I think it's a good idea because it happens all the time, and yet they don't matter enough to Democrats to do anything to enforce border security. Biden said during his speech today when he was addressing this, the majority of Americans support this. Don't let the other side fool you. And you want to be like, this is literally not true. You are just lying.
The second biggest issue, according to Gallup, behind Biden's cognitive function.
I could see there are situations where ripping someone out of a community, even if they're illegally there, will destroy the community in a way that outbalances it. You've got prosecutorial discretion. You don't want to just throw everyone out. But maybe if someone's been married for 5 years and they're illegally here, but
there's no minimum time for marriage.
That's messed up in my opinion, because if someone just broke in a year ago and then got married no.
They have to have resided in America for 10 years, but it doesn't matter how long they've been married.
I honestly don't care about any time frame for illegal immigrants. The idea that someone broke into my house and has been hiding in the attic, and then someone comes, well, to be honest, they've been hiding up there for 30 days, so they're legal residents. No, they are not.
It's the more anarchistic look of like the Americans were illegal immigrants to this landmass, and they were pretty badass, and the ones that were really badass stayed to make a government. So if people can figure out how to illegally get in here and they're that awesome that they set up a badass community, well, like I kind of want those people around.
So the colonists who came here were not illegal immigrants. They weren't illegal. They came to underdeveloped territories. There were territorial disputes with many of the tribes that were here, and it was conquest, which is a big difference. Now, if you're arguing that these people are coming here for conquest, I would completely agree with you, and then say, hey, we should reject conquest and not let people conquer us.
Yeah, I'm against being conquered by people, especially when we have laws on the books saying you can't do this. I don't understand why Biden would say, I'm going to reward people who have been here illegally. Like if you want to participate in our country, vote, you should value citizenship and you should value the nation, which means that you aren't gaming the system for your own wants and needs, right? Not coming to the country illegally is not a great way to start off your life here long term. I just don't think that should be reflective of the values that we encourage.
It shows, too, that you have no respect for the laws of this country. And a lot of these people who are coming here, they make zero effort to assimilate. Whereas, earlier in our country's history, people went to great lengths, changed their last name even to sound more American, learned English very quickly. Now these people don't learn English at all. They have no, tethering to our history, to our constitutional values. And that has to be stopped. And a lot of these people, they're not contributing to society. They're living in free housing, getting free phones, free healthcare, and they're not working. So they're really just a drain on the economy.
Biden said today that, he said it, and also his White House put out a statement saying, the average time someone in this situation has been here is 23 years, and they're largely from Mexico. And I think that was to soften it to the American public. But ultimately what he is saying is slowly by little, I'm going to make it so that I can give anyone citizenship in a way that benefits me. And I don't think that is a value we would want to be a way to build our country in the future. I think the values of our country mandate that people believe in and assimilate to American values.
I also don't understand, if you've been here for 10 years and you marry a U.S. citizen, that automatically gives you a pathway to citizenship. So were these people just too lazy to fill out paperwork? Like, why are they still, not officially citizens?
Yeah.
Going back to what, you were saying, Ian, too, about if someone was here for a long time, ripping them out of the community is bad. I feel like that's kind of like saying someone could be a functional heroin addict. Hey, something bad is happening. They've been doing it for a long time. It's clearly not good for their health. But if they stop doing it, they'll go through withdrawals. So let's just let them keep doing it. No, you actually get them off of it. You put them in a rehab clinic. They go through withdrawals. It sucks. You try to give them methadone or other means of weaning them off of this. But you ultimately stop.
But it would kind of be like if you had a heroin addict in your work pool and they're serving a function and you're just like, we got to get that guy out of there, and he's just all of a sudden removed from the work pool. That cog no longer functions. The entire mechanism fails.
But hold on, no. Maybe Ian's right. If there's someone at your job who does an important thing, you should let them die of heroin addiction as opposed to suffer the consequences of having to do extra work.
No, this is more of an argument of if you remove them from the system entirely, the system may malfunction. So ripping everyone out of their homes all at once just because they're here legally isn't necessarily the best thing for society. There are sometimes that it is the best thing for society, but it's not always the best thing for society.
No one's saying do it instantly all at once. That would be, people will die from withdrawal. Let's use alcoholism too, because alcohol is less serious than heroin. You got a guy at your work who's an alcoholic. You're going to have to remove him. And it's like, well, imagine this. Imagine your boss came in and said, Rick over there is a serious alcoholic, but we need someone to pull the levers to make the machine go. So we're not going to send him to rehab. He'll probably die of, liver failure, but at least we don't have to worry about replacing him just yet. And in the meantime, while he's dying, let's just find a replacement. And then as soon as he dies of liver failure or severe alcohol poisoning, no, absolutely insane. You go to the guy and say, we're going to have to send you to rehab because you're in serious trouble. This is a bad thing, and we're not going to keep doing it just because we're concerned about what the negative impacts to the rest of us is going to be. So if you've got people who have come here illegally, they've displaced the homes of Gen Z. Gen Z can't afford houses now. The market is insane. They can't afford rent because demand is too high. Hotels are being given to illegal immigrants. Low-skilled labor flooded. The best example of this, when the meat processing plants saw 800 or whatever deportations, you get all these corporations saying, but Americans don't want these jobs. And then local news filmed a bunch of Americans showing up for job opportunities. And they said, excuse me, sir, why are you coming here? It's an actual interview you can watch. And he goes, it pays $14 an hour. It pays more than the job I had before. And they're like, you really want to work at this plant? He's like, of course I do. But these companies, you know what the benefit is for the illegal immigration? For these massive corporations, they don't got to pay wage taxes. They don't got to pay the employment tax, which is 7.5% of the income. They can actually underpay these people below minimum wage if they want to, but they usually don't. That's a myth. They'll say, look, we'll give you $13 an hour. We don't got to pay the 7.5. We don't got to pay for insurance. We don't got to worry about unemployment. And then if you cause any problems, we can throw you out and there's nothing you can do because you're here illegally. An American would get protections under the law, and the company would have to pay taxes for employment. This is why they want the illegal immigrants. If we were to deport the people who came here illegally, there would be way more jobs for Americans, and those Americans would make more money, and that would bolster the economy. So we are being dragged down by all these people skirting the system, not to mention outsourcing. So I don't agree with, let's just let it all keep happening because we don't want to be disruptive. When they deported all those people, what happened? Within a week or two or whatever, when they were reopening the plants, massive hundreds of people were coming in trying to get those jobs, and they were able to replace the people that were here illegally.
I think, too, people freak out about deportations, ripping families apart out of their homes. Chris Hayes was whining about it on Twitter, how it's just going to be so horrific to watch. A lot of these people are going to self-deport as well. When you stop giving them the free housing, the free healthcare, the free phone, and you stop, just servicing their every need, a lot of them are going to leave. And I would be willing to even, give them a stipend perhaps to leave. I'd be willing to say, here's $1,000, get out.
Inverse, what is it called? Perverse incentives, though.
We'll see what happens. But if we stop catering to these people, a lot of them there's going to be no benefit to being here, right?
Of course. That's why I would argue against.
And also we can give them time. We can say, hey, we're going to deport people within the next 2 years. We advise that you get out before we have to come grab you. But if you're still here, that is what will happen.
Right. But if you offer money to leave, then people will intentionally come here and then ask for the money to leave.
Right. Well, you have to secure the board. It's a lot of moving parts.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.